You can look at the situation and feel victimized. Or you can look at it and be excited about conquering the challenges and opportunities it presents. If you are not confused, you don't know what is going on. You are not a leader to win a popularity contest, you are a leader to lead. It is better to act too quickly than it is to wait too long. Someone, somewhere has a better idea. In my lifetime, Mitt Romney is the most qualified leader I've ever seen run for the presidency of the United States. If you don't have public hangings for bad culture in a company, if you don't take people out and let them say they went home to spend more time with the family, it's crazy. Excellence and competitiveness aren't incompatible with honesty and integrity. Never miss out on an opportunity like a good recession. I actually think that the economy has got some positives. It's got the market. It's got consumer confidence, and it's got banks central bankers throwing money at it around the world. The mission announces exactly where you are going, and the values describe the behaviors that will get you there. Strategy is simply resource allocation. When you strip away all the noise, that's what it comes down to. Strategy means making clear-cut choices about how to compete. You cannot be everything to everybody, no matter what the size of your business or how deep its pockets. Don't lose yourself on the way to the top. No vision is worth the paper it's printed on unless it is communicated constantly and reinforced with rewards. A leader's role is not to control people or stay on top of things, but rather to guide, energize, and excite. If you have a reputation as a big, stiff bureaucracy, you're stuck. CEOs can talk and blab each day about culture, but the employees all know who the jerks are. They could name the jerks for you. It's just cultural. People just don't want to do it. Every employee, not just the senior people, should know how a company is doing. I was never the smartest guy in the room. From the first person I hired, I was never the smartest guy in the room. And that's a big deal. And if you're going to be a leader, if you're a leader and you're the smartest guy in the world, in the room, you've got real problems. Change before you have to. If a job doesn't excite you on some level, just because of the stuff of it, don't settle. The internet is the Viagra of big business. Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. If GE's strategy of investment in China is wrong, it represents a loss of $1 billion, perhaps a couple of $1 billion. If it is right, it is the future of this company for the next century. Take every opportunity to inject self-confidence into those who have earned it. Use ample praise, the more specific the better. In order to lead a country or a company, you've got to get everybody on the same page, and you've got to be able to have a vision of where you're going. America can't have a vision of healthcare for everybody, green economy, regulations, can't have a bunch of piecemeal activities. It's got to have a vision. Every job you take is a gamble that could increase your options or shut them down. The story about GE that hasn't been told is the value of an informal place. I think it's a big thought. I don't think people have ever figured out that being informal is a big deal. Effective people know when to stop assessing and make a tough call, even without total information. Little is worse than a manager who can't cut bait. An organization's ability to learn and translate that learning into action rapidly is the ultimate competitive advantage. Companies don't give job security. Only satisfied customers do. If you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete. A strategy is something like an innovative new product, globalization, taking your products around the world, be the low-cost producer. A strategy is something you can touch, you can motivate people with, be number one and number two in every business. You can energize people around the message. You can't grow long-term if you can't eat short-term. Anybody can manage short. Anybody can manage long. Balancing those two things is what management is. We've only been wealthy in this country for 70 years. Who said we ought to have all this? Is it ordained? Globalization has changed us into a company that searches the world, not just to sell or to source, but to find intellectual capital, the world's best talents and greatest ideas. If the rate of change on the outside exceeds the rate of change on the inside, the end is near. The hero is the one with ideas. I've learned that mistakes can often be as good a teacher as success. The 3 S's of winning in business are speed, simplicity, and self-confidence. The secret of success is changing the way you think. It's said that you can only live life forward and understand it backward. The most important job you have is growing your people, giving them a chance to reach their dreams. Differentiation favors people who are energetic and extroverted and undervalues people who are shy and introverted, even if they are talented. Too often we measure everything and understand nothing. The 3 most important things you need to measure in a business are customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, and cash flow. If you're growing customer satisfaction, your global market share is sure to grow, too. Employee satisfaction gets you productivity, quality, pride, and creativity. And cash flow is the pulse, the key vital sign of a company. Nothing of any importance has ever been accomplished by a pessimist. Good business leaders create a vision, articulate the vision, passionately own the vision, and relentlessly drive it to completion. Willingness to change is a strength, even if it means plunging part of the company into total confusion for a while. Arrogance is a killer, and wearing ambition on one's sleeve can have the same effect. There is a fine line between arrogance and self-confidence. Out-innovating them is the way to beat China. And to do everything that we do in this country to support innovative policy, that drives innovation and new products and more jobs and creates jobs. You can't put a wall up around here. We tried that in the 30s. It didn't work. When you were made a leader, you weren't given a crown, you were given the responsibility to bring out the best in others. Any company trying to compete must figure out a way to engage the mind of every employee. Culture drives great results. You measure your people and you take action on those that don't measure up. Protecting underperformers always backfires. The essence of competitiveness is liberated when we make people believe that what they think and do is important and then get out of their way while they do it. When launching something new, you have to go for it. Playing not to lose can never be an option. My main job was developing talent. I was a gardener providing water and other nourishment to our top 750 people. Of course, I had to pull out some weeds, too. Short-cycle business are being impacted by credit and are being impacted by gasoline prices, food, distribution businesses, chemical business. Giving people self-confidence is by far the most important thing that I can do. Because then they will act. Common mission trap for companies, trying to be all things to all people at all times. Any jerk can have short-term earnings. You squeeze, 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 and the company sinks 5 years later. If you pick the right people and give them the opportunity to spread their wings and put compensation as a carrier behind it, you almost don't have to manage them. A leader's job is to look into the future and see the organization, not as it is, but as it should be. Public hangings are teaching moments. Every company has to do it. A teaching moment is worth 1,000 CEO speeches. CEOs can talk and blab each day about culture, but the employees all know who the jerks are. They could name the jerks for you. It's just cultural. People just don't want to do it. The team with the best players wins. Face reality as it is, not as it was or as you wish it to be. You've got to eat while you dream. You've got to deliver on short-range commitments, while you develop a long-range strategy and vision and implement it. The success of doing both. Walking and chewing gum, if you will. Getting it done in the short range, and delivering a long-range plan, and executing on that. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. Does coaching work? Yes. Good coaches provide a truly important service. They tell you the truth when no one else will. As a leader, your job is to energize people around the mission and vision you've articulated. Strategy is not a lengthy action plan. It is the evolution of a central idea through continually changing circumstances. Leaders relentlessly upgrade their team, using every encounter as an opportunity to evaluate, coach, and build self-confidence. There are only 3 measurements that tell you nearly everything you need to know about your organization's overall performance: employee engagement, customer satisfaction, and cash flow. It goes without saying that no company, small or large, can win over the long run without energized employees who believe in the mission and understand how to achieve it. The best thing workers can bring to their jobs is a lifelong thirst for learning. We've all been guilty at one point or another in our careers of boasting of perfect hindsight. It's a terrible sin. If you don't make sure your questions and concerns are acted upon, it doesn't count. Business is a game, and as with all games, the team that puts the best people on the field and gets them playing together wins. It's that simple. As Google CEO Larry Page put it in his 2014 TED Talk, the main thing that has caused companies to fail, in my view, is that they missed the future. Great leaders love to see people grow. The day you are afraid of them being better than you is the day you fail as a leader. The biggest cowards are managers who don't let people know where they stand. The productivity now at universities is terrible. Tenure is a terrible idea. It keeps them around forever and they don't have to work hard. Give me a highly successful unionized industry. The 1980s will seem like a walk in the park when compared to new global challenges, where annual productivity increases of 6% may not be enough. A combination of software, brains, and running harder will be needed to bring that percentage up to 8% or 9%. Don't manage, lead change before you have to. Our behavior is driven by a fundamental core belief, the desire, and the ability of an organization to continuously learn from any source, anywhere, and to rapidly convert this learning into action is its ultimate competitive advantage. Strong managers who make tough decisions to cut jobs provide the only true job security in today's world. Weak managers are the problem. Weak managers destroy jobs. Control your own destiny or somebody else will. There's no such thing as work-life balance. There are work-life choices, and you make them, and they have consequences. All of management is about self-confidence. Indeed, the biggest winners in the world are those who answer yes to the question, am I living the life I choose? The idea flow from the human spirit is absolutely unlimited. All you have to do is tap into that well. I don't like to use the word efficiency. It's creativity. It's a belief that every person counts. If work is just going in every day and getting a check, it's an ugly life. When you can make work a meaningful purpose, you've hit the jackpot for people. There are only two sources of competitive advantage: the ability to learn more about our customers faster than the competition and the ability to turn that learning into action faster than the competition. Trust happens when leaders are transparent. You got to be rigorous in your appraisal system. The biggest cowards are managers who don't let people know where they stand. I was afraid of the internet because I couldn't type. What's important at the grocery store is just as important in engines or medical systems. If the customer isn't satisfied, if the stuff is getting stale, if the shelf isn't right, or if the offerings aren't right, it's the same thing. You manage it like a small organization. You don't get hung up on zeros. Be candid with everyone. Take time to get to know people. Understand where they are coming from, what is important to them. Make sure they are with you. I don't feel undertaxed in any way at all. One of the jobs of a manager is to instill confidence, pump confidence into your people. And when you've got somebody who's raring to go and you can smell it and feel it, give them that shot. You never know how diverse your career can be. I think it's wonderful. My life has always been the next page, not the last page. The world belongs to passionate, driven people. Number 1, cash is king. Number 2, communicate. Number 3, buy or bury the competition. Shareholder value is a result, not a strategy. Your main constituencies are your employees, your customers, and your products. When you own your choices, you own their consequences. Management is all about managing in the short term, while developing the plans for the long term.